first tip is your belief in it. Belief in social media is absolutely key. And what I mean by that is, if you are the boss of your company or you are the staff member of your company, you've got to truly honestly believe that social media has the power to change your business and to change the actual amount of clients you can win and so on. Because obviously, as I said, I've been running this business now for nearly 11 years. I've been marketing online for 20 years, including a journalism career and events career. And I think you can instantly tell those people who treat social media like a tick box exercise, who aren't passionate about social media. So when I go onto LinkedIn or go onto Twitter or go onto Instagram, I have that faith and belief that what I'm posting out there is of value to people, and what I'm posting out there can change my audience's trajectory or to change their business life. And when it comes to yours, whether it be Chris on his first aid training or whether it be Joe on obviously the clinic and creating a more beautiful you, you've kind of got to have that belief in that what you're posting out there is true and authentic or so on, because I see some of the worst people out there are actually social media trainers, and they sort of preach about the importance of engaging. When was the last time you actually responded to people? The importance of people responding to your post. I look at your post and you've got no comments on there. You've got to have that belief in social media that has the power to change. So have some faith in it, guys, and treat it as importantly as you did printed traditional marketing in the old days. That's the first tip, believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't come true like Santa Claus. So, and then you've got to really, really honestly, this is a big one. I did a massive blog on this earlier this year. You've got to truly, as a business owner, kick away every single crutch that you have that is keeping your business afloat at the moment. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the reasons that people don't treat social media seriously is because we've been in business for 25 years and we get all of our business from word of mouth. Okay, there's going to be a young person that's 20 years old that's going to use social media, that's going to be in front of every single one of your customers' faces every single day, and you're going to be forgotten about. What other crutches do people have? I only need to work 4 hours a day because my wife supports my business for me. No, kick away that crutch. Literally, the reason that I made such an effort to make my business work when I launched this business nearly 11 years ago was because I didn't have rich parents that could support me. I didn't have a partner that could support me. So the only thing that could actually keep my business afloat was marketing heavily and generating sales. So if you kick away the crutches and go, what if I have nothing? Then you start to have that belief in social media and actually to start treating it seriously, not just turn up and go, it doesn't matter if I don't post for the next 7 days because my husband or wife's salary can support me for the next few months. It's kind of that sort of thing that you've got to do. Kick away every single crutch that you have and just believe that you can only change your life. And the next thing is, again, really, really important. Treat your social media like a chess move. Strategically use social media. So when I talk about strategically using social media, when people come to me to use my training services or my social media management services, they use it because I do social media marketing. And that's the clue, the word marketing in there, strategic marketing. I'm not just a VA that will post on your social media, because there's a difference between just posting on social media and marketing on social media. There is a core difference. So you've got to decide the why you're using social media, or why you're choosing certain platforms. What is your marketing message? Who are your ideal customers? What messages do they want to hear? What messages do they need to hear? How many times a day you're going to post? What you're going to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, 6-monthly, yearly basis. And then you've obviously, we'll focus on measurement later, but you've got to strategically use social media, because turning up at 11 minutes past 10 on a Thursday morning going, I'm just going to randomly post something for the sake of posting it, is not a strategy. You're just posting on social media. You've got to decide the why and set KPIs for that. And the next thing is follow interesting people. Chris is a stickler for this, I know, because we have little private chats about TikTok all the time. And Chris then says to me, you should follow this person. And the average person just goes and follows someone who does funny dance moves, whereas Chris actually follows interesting people. So that's the key thing. Like, who are you going to choose to follow? Are you going to follow someone like David Bowie, or are you going to follow Ed Sheeran? Because there's a clear difference between the two in terms of artistry. That's kind of like the thing. Like, who are you choosing to follow? They're saying you become most like the 5 people that you spend time with. Imagine if the 5 people that you follow on social media are as dull as ditch water. I try and follow interesting people regardless of whether they work in marketing, regardless of whether the fact that they're my ideal clients. I obviously do follow ideal clients. I follow people I network with, but I also add into the mix interesting people, whether they work in finance, whether they work in HR, whether they work in GDPR, whatever they work in. If they're posting interesting content, I may be able to like find a different way of posting, be inspired by them. And it's actually better for me to be inspired by someone who doesn't work in marketing than someone who does work in marketing, because then you just end up repeating the same old boring ideas. So just try and follow interesting people on social media. And this is really important. It sort of set the tone for every single thing that I do. And what you've got to start looking at is most of what you post on social media is going to be called short form content. So whether it's a tweet, which is called a microblog, or whether it's a short LinkedIn post or a short 15-second Instagram story, that is all great. But what you need to start producing is long form content. So that what I mean by long form content is that might be an 1,000-word blog. It might be a 5 to 10 to 15-minute video on YouTube. Long form anchor content sets a tone for everything that you do. So if you imagine at the top of this screen, there's some long form anchor content, so a 1,000-word blog, I can turn that 1,000-word blog into, say, for instance, 20 different tweets. I can turn that into 4 different Instagram story posts. I can turn that even into little chopped up 2-minute videos. It can be turned into many different types of content, but the long form anchor content works you. It's evergreen, it's everlasting. So that is why over the past 11 years, I'm now on something like, I can't remember how many blogs I've written, but it's something like 520 or something like that. And that is 600 to 1,000 words a time. I've published 2 this week. So focus on, play to your strengths, whether it's written word and blogging or whether it's presenting yourself on video, but long form anchor content. The next thing that I would also emphasize is contributors win on social media. So like the image that is there, which is a really competitive swimming race, you don't win by sitting on the edge of the river there watching the people race. You win because you've decided to jump in and take part of the race, and you've actually contributed to it and tried to end up in first pole position. So there's a stat on there that's something like, whatever platform it is, less than 5 or 3% of people actually actively post on social media. So most people are the lurkers. Most people aren't going onto social media, engaging with others or posting on social media. So the moment you put yourself out there in a strategic way, remember, you start to win. So when you actively post on LinkedIn, you start to win. When you actively post on Twitter, you start to win. When you're active on Facebook and Instagram, you win. Because if you're silent, if you're doing nothing, who's going to know you exist? It's like turning up a networking meeting. If you speak to no one, if you sit in the corner of the room sipping your coffee, you don't win. You've got to be a contributor to the platform. And then what you've also got to do is network with influencers. And I don't necessarily mean the pretty girls and guys on Instagram. I mean true influencers. So a lot of people think that you can't network with influencers in the B2B world, which most of us are. You've got to think about everything that's happened via lockdown. So for me, knowing obviously Alex and Val and Sue at the Chamber, who gives me fantastic speaking positions like this, that is networking with influence. Because if you get to speak at the chamber, that is networking influencers. Sam, I know, does her weekly roundup of blogs, and luckily I've been featured most weeks, and the weeks I haven't been featured is when I haven't written a blog. So Sam is an influencer in terms of her newsletter each week. Altrincham Bid, you might have noticed they're doing the My Altrincham feature, where we've just been featured talking about one of our favourite bars in Altrincham, and they've been linking up with lots of different professional service firms saying, this is my favourite restaurant, this is my favourite shop, this is my favourite that. That is an example of influencer marketing. It doesn't necessarily mean that influencer marketing means you're Kim Kardashian, you're pretty girl selling makeup. Influencer marketing could mean working out a way of me speaking to your audience. It could be you contributing to one of our blogs. It could be saying to Val, oh, I noticed the news section of the Chamber website could be updated more regularly. Can I contribute weekly or monthly articles to it? It's that sort of thing that you can do. That is B2B influencer marketing. So if you network with those people, I know Denise is on the call, Denise Labour. Denise knows literally everyone in Hale. So literally, and a lot of people in Altrincham as well. So it's literally like getting to know influencers and people who know people is really, really important. And the next thing you've got to do, what I've always learned, is do it daily. And that's really, really important. It's got to be part of you wouldn't just say, I'm not answering the phone for 7 days. I'm going to ignore people's emails for 7 days. You've got to turn up on social media and do it daily. It's really, really important. I'm not saying you can never take a break. So if you want to sun yourself on the beach when we can go to Spain, do that. But you've got to literally turn up daily most of the time that you're working, and to turn up with purpose and do all the things, post, engage, interact with people, produce and create content. It's part of your daily habits. Again, if you're going to the gym, which you know I do regularly, and go out running, if your goal this year is to lose 4 stone, say, for instance, you don't lose the 4 stone if you turn up to the gym once a month. You don't win from social media if you post on LinkedIn once a month. It's those sort of things that you've got to think. So it's daily habits, and daily habits win. One massively important thing, so I said I'm only giving you the headlines on this, is creating reviews. Not creating reviews, getting reviews, asking for reviews, having a testimonial strategy. So you might notice when you go onto LinkedIn, my professional headline says, social media trainer, ranked #1 for social media marketing in the UK on Free Index, /470 plus testimonials on LinkedIn. Now, that is walking the talk, or as someone said on my profile, you don't just walk the talk, you run the run. And literally, having a review strategy, someone tried to connect with me actually the other day, and you noted they'd edited their profile photo on LinkedIn to actually put highly recommended in red around the rim of their profile photo. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. How highly recommended are they? So I went onto the LinkedIn profile and they found they actually had 0 reviews on their LinkedIn profile. So it's not exactly highly recommended. So reviews make it a frictionless process for people to buy from you. So if you're on this call and you've never heard of me before, I've got 472 testimonials. That makes it an easy purchase, because it's not like me turning you up and going, I'm really good at social media. What have other people said? 0 gave me any reviews. It makes it easy for people to buy from you. And you'd expect that from a social media marketer, but it's relevant for all of your fields as well. Get reviews from happy customers, and they ask at the point of happiness. Put your personality into it. I think we're on point 10 now out of 11. I should have numbered this. Personality. One of the reasons that people decide to buy from me is not just my skill set in what I do, not just the fact that I do social media training and I do it very well, is the fact that I put my personality into it as well. And that is talking about my interests. That is talking about the things that are external to their, look, I can do this and I want to sell to you. I talk about where I go out to eat in Altrincham, or I talk about running, or I talk about the places that I go and visit, and I talk about the music that I'm interested in. So if people follow me, they sort of see me posting about 3 things. It's basically being a vegan and having interesting food, it's running and exercise, and it's rock and roll. And those things are the 3 things that I'm known for. And you've got to think, what are you known for apart from just selling stuff? Is it the football team that you're interested in? Like Alex said, Manchester City, the best team in Manchester. They're not, but I work with them. But it's that kind of thing. Putting your personality out there is really key, and putting a face to it. People don't necessarily buy from a logo, they buy from a person as well. So I don't mind posting a picture out there. As long as I've got my smiley face on it. If my hair's messy, I don't care. If I'm sweaty, I don't care. I'll put my face out there. Put your personality out there. As long as it's not ranting about politics is the only thing I'll say, if that's your personality. And then last thing I'm going to say, and I say this in a lot of my presentations, measurement of social media, measure the success of what you're doing, because you can do all the things that I've just said over the last 10 slides. But if you're not measuring it in terms of driving sales, if you're not measuring it in terms of it fulfilling those KPIs, whether that be driving more traffic to your website, getting you more visibility, and getting more leads and inquiries, actually getting more sales, which is the key thing. If you're not getting that and you're not measuring it, how do you know that you can improve on it? So one of the things that we've actually do when we do our social media training, we've just actually introduced a whole new, it's an 8-page booklet, and it's a social media accountability booklet. So rather than you just coming to me and saying, right, there's your 3.5 hours of your training, job done, go off and do it, we actually get people to actually agree to a pledge where they'll keep in touch with us 1 week after training, 2 weeks after training, a month after training, 3 months after training, 6 months after training. And there's a booklet in there which obviously talks about their monthly successes and their monthly areas to improve on. So it's a continual fluid process. It's not just like when you come to me for training, I don't want you to come to me for training just to have a tick box exercise. I don't work with people who just want me to tell them, yeah, you can do this, you got this. I'm not vacuous in what I do. I want you to come to me because you genuinely want change and improvement.